Hey nerds. Yeah, I'm back again with another video for my biology class. Yeah, this time I'm not gonna have to go over safety. Actually doing something else. Yeah, today I'm gonna take you to the temperate grasslands. And I know just from the image of it, it doesn't really seem that interesting. But really, like, it's about more of, like, the animals involved, because it's just grass. There's nothing else, really. Maybe a couple trees or mountains. It's just grass. But before we get into all of this, let's talk about some characteristics that make the biome the way it is. This biome pretty much is mainly just made out of flat grasslands, which is, how I got the name. But, yeah. Temperature of it can really fluctuate a lot during the years, and even depending on what latitude you are, it can range from negative 20 degrees Celsius to 30 degrees Celsius. It's pretty crazy. To make this better, I'll give you an example. For this, let's just go with Austin, Texas. Around this area, which is pretty close to the equator, temperatures can range from 10 degrees Fahrenheit to 30 degrees Fahrenheit, and on average, they can receive about 500 to 900 millimeters of rainfall each year. These biomes do tend to fluctuate quite a lot, depending on latitude, as I said, but usually they do have a drier season and also a wetter season. But no matter what, they most of the time stay kind of hottish throughout. Grasslands are on every single continent, but yeah, the largest one that there is the, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, Eurasian steppe, I think it was, that stretches from around China to Hungary. Now kids, let's talk about some of the plant and animal life. Some plants you might find around here include purple needlegrass, buffalo grass, blue grama, which I can't fit in the shot, galleta, sunflowers, and also prairie clovers. But there are plenty of other grasses. This is just how many we're supposed to list. The grasses here have grown to adapt to the dark, rich, nutrient-filled soil. So to do this, what they do is they make very large roots, very wide and very deep, so they're able to pick up as much soil as they can to get as much nutrients as possible. Even grasses that are only around 25 centimeters tall can grow a meter deep. Also, some of the animals you might be able to find in the grassland include zebras, hawks, lions, deer, prairie dogs, and grasshoppers. And again, there are multiples and lots of other animals that are found in grasslands. I was only supposed to list 6. Some of the adaptations that these animals have developed are having short hair, and mainly herbivores have developed flat teeth for better eating grass. Also, prairie dogs in particular have gotten very nice claws and paws, so they are able to dig holes in the ground, so they're able to hide from predators better due to the land being very flat and them being very visible. Now that I've showed you some of the animals that live in this environment, I'd like to show you the 3 main processes that make all life go around inside this biome. But this also isn't just exclusively specific to the biome. First off, let's start with the water cycle here. So you see, it starts with lakes, rivers, streams that come into this area, and then when it gets really hot, it will evaporate and come into the clouds up here, where it will form and then condensation, yeah, and then it will then precipitate or rain down back into probably not the same lake or river, but into another place. The next main biogeochemical cycle in this environment is the carbon cycle. And how this carbon cycle starts out is with the CO2 in the atmosphere. It goes down through photosynthesis into plants like the purple needlegrass, as you can see here. And animals like zebras here can eat it, and that's how the carbon goes into them. But then, from zebras' respiration, or any other animal's respiration that do breathe on land, this also goes back into the CO2 in the atmosphere. But also, another way this carbon cycle forms is when the animals die, they go into the ground, and eventually, through decomposition, they become fossil fuels. Then the oil business here, they dig up those fields, releasing several bad like carbon CO2 gases into the atmosphere, and then the cycle starts all over again. Now for the last but definitely not least web. This web we're doing is actually the food web. We're going to talk about what animals and what plants, like what they feed on, what they are eaten by, and that all kind of stuff. This is probably the most interesting part about the biome. First of all, from where all this life comes from, we have the sun up here. It just starts the whole cycle off so that we can begin. The sun is absorbed. The sunlight is absorbed by like grasses down here, like the buffalo grass, blue grama, the galleta grass, and those kind of grasses. That's the first trophic level, which is called the producers. Then for the next trophic level, we have the primary consumers. These are the stuff like the grasshoppers and the zebras over here. These are the things that only eat plants and nothing else really. The next level is the secondary consumers, which are the animals that eat grasses, but also other things like, in this case, only grasshoppers. These are the jackrabbits, I forgot to draw the arrow for it, the prairie dogs, and the deer. The next level we have up here are the apex predators. These are the animals that eat like just animal and no other plant and have no predators at all. These are stuff like the hawks, lions, and the coyotes. The hawks here eat stuff like jackrabbits and the prairie dogs. We have the lions up here, which eat the deer and the zebras too, and also prairie dogs and jackrabbits. Then we have the coyotes that eat the deer and the prairie dogs. Now this is the end of the cycle parts of this presentation. Now, some of the more bad things about this biome, not bad as in the biome, but bad things that are happening to the biome. In this biome currently, these lands are very like long, flat lands, lots of grass. So people are coming here and taking the land and they're using it for like farming and that kind of stuff, which you can already see as kind of bad because it's taking away land that the animals already own, and so they have to migrate to other places. But it gets kind of worse. Due to the farming, plowing and overgrazing from animals can really be bad in the drier seasons, and the oil and the soil can get really like dried up, and this leads to dust storms, which can really be bad. But it doesn't just stop there. Another big problem in the environment is oil drilling. This oil drilling is happening a lot because of the abundance of fossil fuels in the ground in this area, which is also doing very bad things to the soil and just the environment in general. One major grassland you can find, which is the biggest grassland in America, is the Missouri National Grassland. Some important features of this grassland include the White Butte, which is the largest and highest point in North Dakota, which is kind of funny since it's called. Yeah, you can probably see why. And it has several streams and lakes. But some serious problems, which I was actually talking about earlier, that happen specifically in this area right here is oil drilling, which, as I said, is affecting the soil, which is affecting plant life, vegetation, animals, and there are a couple endangered species in that particular area, which it is also affecting them too. For the most fun part about this entire presentation, the sources, which are, look at all these sources right here. Wow, incredible. You probably can't even click on them, but I'll probably have them in my Google slide linked in this description below.